The dust swirled like a devil's whisper across the barren trail as Jack Harlan spurred his weary horse up the jagged slopes of the Sierra Nevada. The sun hung low, bleeding red over the peaks, and the air carried the sharp bite of pine and impending night. Jack's hand rested on the butt of his Colt, eyes scanning the shadows for any sign of the posse that had been dogging him since that botched bank job in Carson City. He wasn't a bad man, not deep down, but the West had a way of turning good intentions into graves. A rifle crack split the silence, and Jack's horse reared, nearly throwing him. He hit the ground hard, rolling behind a boulder as another shot pinged off the rock. "Who's there?" he bellowed, drawing his pistol. No answer, just the echo fading into the canyon. Heart pounding, he peered out and froze. A woman stepped from the tree lean, rifle leveled at his chest. She was tall, wild-haired, dressed in buckskin that hugged her like a second skin, eyes fierce as a cougar's. "You're trespassing on my mountain," she growled, voice like gravel under boots. Jack raised his hands slow, mind racing. She wasn't no ordinary homesteader's wife, scars crisscrossed her arms, and a necklace of bear claws dangled at her throat. "Ma'am, I ain't looking for trouble. Just passin' through." Her lips curled into a smirk that sent a chill down his spine. "Trouble's what you found, cowboy. Drop the gun." He complied, the metal clattering to the dirt. She approached, rifle steady, and kicked his Colt away. Up close, she smelled of wood smoke and wildflowers, an intoxicating mix that muddled his thoughts. "Name's Lila," she said, eyes locking on his. "And you're going to bed with me tonight." Jack's blood ran cold. The words hung in the air like a noose, shocking him to his core. Was she mad? A bandit queen? Or something worse, like those tales of mountain witches who lured men to their doom? He stammered, "What in God's name?" "Shut your mouth," Lila snapped, prodding him with the rifle barrel. "Storm's comin'. My cabin's up yonder. Move." Lightning flashed in the distance, thunder rumbling like an omen. Jack had no choice, unarmed and exposed, he followed her up a hidden path, questions burning in his gut. Who was this woman who spoke such bold, scandalous words without a blush? And what fate awaited him in her lair? The cabin was a rough-hewn fortress perched on a ledge, smoke curling from the chimney like a serpent's tail. Inside, it was sparse, a bearskin rug, a pot-bellied stove, shelves lined with jars of herbs that gave off a pungent, almost sinister aroma. Lila bolted the door behind them, the sound echoing like a final judgment. She slung the rifle over her shoulder and lit a lantern, its glow casting flickering shadows that danced like ghosts on the walls. "Sit," she ordered, pointing to a chair by the fire. Jack obeyed, his mind a whirlwind. The West was full of dangers, outlaws, Indians, grizzlies, but a woman like this? She poured 2 tin cups of whiskey from a jug, handing him one. "Drink. It'll steady your nerves." He took a swig, the burn clearing his head. "Lady, I don't know what game you're playin', but I ain't the type to." Lila laughed, a low, throaty sound that raised the hairs on his neck. "Game? This ain't no game, cowboy. You think I drag any drifter up here? I saw you from afar, riding like the devils on your tail. That posse's closer than you know. They'll be here by mornin' if the storm don't bury 'em first." Jack's eyes widened. How did she know about the posse? "You spyin' on me?" "I've got eyes everywhere on this mountain," she said, sipping her whiskey. Her gaze pierced him, as if peeling back his secrets layer by layer. "But that's not why I brought you here. There's something about you. A fire in your eyes. Reminds me of my late husband." The revelation hung heavy. Late husband? Jack glanced around, spotting a faded tintype on the mantel, a burly man with a mustache, arm around a younger Lila, both smiling in a way that spoke of lost innocence. "What happened to him?" "Bandits," she whispered, her voice cracking for the first time. "Raided our claim 2 winters back. Shot him dead, left me for the wolves. I tracked them down, one by one. Skinned the last one alive." Her eyes gleamed with a madness that made Jack's stomach twist. Was this a confession or a threat? He shifted, eyeing the door, but she was between him and freedom. Thunder boomed outside, rain lashing the windows like angry spirits. Lila set her cup down and stood, her shadow looming. The bed's in the back. You'll sleep there, with me. Ain't no other choice. This cabin's got one room, and I don't trust you not to slit my throat while I doze. Jack's face flushed hot. The implication was clear, shocking in its bluntness. In the prim towns below, such words would brand a woman forever, but up here, in the wild, rules dissolve like snow in spring. I ain't layin' a hand on you, he protested, though a forbidden curiosity stirred. She stepped closer, her breath warm on his face. Who said anything about hands? It's warmth we need, cowboy. The cold up here kills quicker than bullets. But if you try anything funny? She drew a knife from her boot, the blade glinting wickedly. The night deepened, the storm raging like a beast outside. Jack lay rigid on the straw mattress, Lila's form a shadowy presence beside him. The heat from her body was a torment, her scent enveloping him. Sleep evaded him, mind racing with suspicions. Was she truly alone, or was this a trap? Whispers of mountain lore flooded back, tales of women who ensnared men, only to rob them blind or worse. A creak in the floorboards jolted him awake. Lila was gone from the bed. Heart hammering, he slipped out, grabbing a poker from the fire. The cabin was dark, but a faint light glowed from a trapdoor he'd missed earlier. Descending stealthily, he found a cellar, crates of dynamite, sacks of gold dust, and walls scrawled with maps marking hidden veins. But what shocked him most was the wanted poster tacked to a beam, his own face staring back, reward doubled since Carson City. Lila? He whispered, dread coiling in his chest. A shadow moved, and she emerged from the gloom, rifle in hand again. Snoopin' already? Thought you had more sense. You knew who I was all along, Jack accused, poker raised. This some kind of bounty hunt? Her laugh echoed in the confined space. Bounty? Honey, I could have turned you in days ago. Saw your face on that poster in town. But I need a man like you, tough, desperate. My husband's killers ain't all dead. One's left, hidin' in these hills with a gang. You help me finish 'em, and half this gold's yours. The proposition hung like smoke, suspense building as thunder shook the mountain. Jack lowered the poker, intrigued despite the danger. Why me? Why not do it yourself? Because, she said, stepping so close he could feel her heartbeat, I need someone to watch my back. And tonight, in that bed, I saw it in your eyes, you're running from more than a posse. A woman? A ghost? Don't matter. We're alike, you and me. Outcasts. He hesitated, the shocking intimacy of her words pulling him in. The West was unforgiving, alliances formed in blood and necessity. All right, he muttered. But if you double-cross me. I won't, she promised, sealing it with a kiss that burned like wildfire, shocking him into silence. It was fierce, urgent, born of isolation and vengeance. They ascended, the storm masking their plans. Dawn broke gray and treacherous, the trail slick with mud. Jack and Lila rode out, rifles slung, her leading the way to a forgotten mine where the last bandit holed up. The air grew thick with tension as they approached, whispers of wind carrying ghostly warnings. His name's Black Bart, Lila said, voice low. Killed my Tom slow, Logan the whole time. Jack nodded, gripped tight on his reins. But doubt not, her story had holes. Why the gold in the cellar? And that kiss, was it genuine, or bait? They dismounted at the mine's mouth, a yawning black maw. Inside, lanterns flickered, voices echoing. Spread out, a gruff voice commanded. Ambush? Jack's pulse raced as he and Lila crept in, shadows their allies. The first shot came from nowhere, grazing Jack's arm. He fired back, dropping a sentry. Chaos erupted, bullets ricocheting off walls, shouts filling the air. Lila moved like a phantom, picking off two more with deadly precision. Where's Bart? She screamed over the din. A hulking figure emerged from the depths, scarred face twisted in recognition. You! The Widow Witch! Black Bart roared, leveling his shotgun. Jack tackled Lila aside as buckshot blasted the rock. They rolled, coming up firing. Bart staggered, blood blooming on his chest, but he lunged, knife flashing. Jack met him, fists and steel clashing in a brutal dance. A slash across his cheek, hot pain, but he drove his own blade home, ending it with a gurgle. Panting, Jack turned to Lila, only to find her rifle aimed at him. "What the?" "Drop it," she hissed, ice cold as steel. The shock hit like a gut punch. "Betrayal? You think I'd share my gold with a stranger?" Bart was the last loose end. "Now, you're the only one who knows about the cellar." Jack's world spun. The kiss, the alliance, all a ruse? "You used me," he spat, mind reeling. But as she advanced, a hidden dynamite fuse sparked in his memory, the crates below her cabin. Had she rigged something? A rumble shook the mine, dust cascading. "What did you do?" Lila demanded, panic flashing. Jack grinned through blood. "Lit a fuse while you were sleepin'. This whole place is comin' down with your precious gold if we don't move." Liar, he hadn't, but the bluff worked. She hesitated, and he charged, wrestling the rifle away. They tumbled, the ground trembling not from dynamite, but an aftershock from the storm, loosening boulders. Rocks crashed, sealing the entrance. Trapped in darkness, Jack pinned her. "Why?" he demanded. Her voice broke, shocking vulnerability emerging. "The gold, it's cursed. Stole it from Bart's gang after they killed Tom. But it brought nothin' but death. I thought killin' 'em all would free me, but the guilt. I needed someone to share the burden. Or end it." The confession hung in the stifling air, suspense thick as they clawed for an exit. Hours passed, fingers raw, until a sliver of light appeared. They emerged battered, the mine collapsed behind, burying Bart in secrets. On the ridge, Lila faced him, wind whipping her hair. "Go. Take your share. But remember up here, trust is a fool's game." Jack mounted, but paused. "Come with me. Start fresh." She shook her head, a sad smile. "This mountain's my prison. And my bed." He rode off, gold heavy in his saddlebags, her words echoing, "You're going to bed with me tonight." Shocking, suspensive, a night that changed everything. But as he descended, a shot rang out not at him, but skyward, a farewell? Or a signal? Miles later, in a dusty saloon, Jack heard whispers, Lila wasn't widowed. Tom was alive, part of the gang, faking death for the heist. Had she played him deeper? The gold felt tainted, suspense lingering like a shadow. Years passed, Jack a legend, but he never forgot the mountain woman. One stormy night, a knock at his ranch door. There she stood, older, ice-haunted. "Cowboy, the bed's cold without you." Shock rippled through him. Was it love? Revenge? The West held its breath, story unfinished.